Welcome to BNC Live. I'm Laverne McGee. Happy Hump Day. It is Wednesday, December 8th. The body of Jelani Day was found in an Illinois river weeks after his family reported him missing. Though the official cause of the 25-year-old's death was determined to be drowning, the facts around how his body ended up in that river are still unclear. Now, the family, through their attorney Ben Crump, is demanding the FBI investigate the case as a federal hate crime. Carmen Bolden, Jelani's mother, is joining us now. Thank you so much for being with us here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
First and foremost, our condolences. I know this is difficult. I know that you've been trying to get help and answers, and we want to be as respectful as we possibly can, but we want to ask some questions, of course, that may, be upsetting to you and others who are watching. Jelani's death, people are saying it was a suicide. That's one of the things that's out there. I'm sure that must be hard. As a mother, I can understand how that feels for somebody to say that about your child. But can you tell us why you don't think that there's any way that that's a possibility?
Number one, Jelani would never do anything to hurt or harm himself in a way to take himself away from any of us. Number two, a person that commits suicide does not remove their license plates, does not park their car in a hidden wooden area, does not walk miles away and drops their wallet, does not walk another mile away and drop their lanyard, does not take themselves to a river and remove their clothing, and does not put themselves in a river to drown themselves, especially when they can swim. My son didn't do that to himself.
Okay, you make some really good points there about the car, the license plates, where it was found. Have you not had these conversations with police or investigators and pointed that out to them? And if so, what was their response?
I absolutely have pointed that out to them. I pointed that out to them from the beginning. And since the beginning, their take on it was Jelani parked his car, Jelani dropped his lanyard, Jelani dropped his wallet, Jelani was found in the river. So no matter what I've said, that was their stance. That is what they said to me. So therefore, I have had to continually fight that Jelani didn't do this to himself. Also, per the autopsy report that they gave to me, they said that the cause of death was drowning. However, they can't substantiate or prove that he actually drowned. They only came to that conclusion because his body was found in the water. I know that Jelani had no connections to anyone in Peru. I know that Jelani wouldn't have taken himself to Peru. I know that if they found his phone now on the interstate in Bloomington, Illinois, this has nothing to do with a suicide. There is foul play involved. My son, that bright young man who had a future ahead of him, that had things that we were talking about on that previous Monday, plans that we were going to take for Thanksgiving. We were preparing for a family trip. My son wouldn't have did that. He wouldn't have did that to him. He wouldn't have did it to me. He wouldn't have did it to his dad. He wouldn't have did it to anybody. To him, he wouldn't have put this on us. Jelani would be here right now today if somebody hadn't done something to him.
Carmen, I certainly understand the pain and frustration you feel. What do you think the next step is? I mean, what do you want to see happen?
What I want to see happen is this. From the beginning, the police department, that was the lead police department, Bloomington, Illinois, they were not taking, in my opinion, weren't taking Jelani's disappearance serious to me. The detective was looking at stuff. However, there were things that I went back and looked at that he hadn't even done. There were things that I had to call him about that he would tell me that tomorrow we'll send somebody. So the urgency was not there. Then when that body was found and that body was identified on a month later, they told me the next day, we're going to start back. We have to go back and start back on day one. 30 days have elapsed. So I don't trust the agencies that were looking for my son, that say they were looking for my son, the agencies that were investigating this. I need a new set of eyes. I asked for the state police to come in and take over. That hasn't happened. I've asked for the FBI to come in and take over now, because if they can't do their job, I need someone with a new set of eyes, someone that did not already go through the steps that they said that they went through, but somebody that's going to be, that can use the resources, that can do what is necessary, that has the manpower to find out what happened to my son. Do I expect them to come up with this magic answer to tell me what happened with Jelani? No, but I do expect them to at least put in the work to see what happened to him, to find the people that are responsible for this, so that those people can be held accountable for this. Because my son did not deserve not to be here with me. I should not have to be going through this, but I am. And so since I am, I need those people that we pay these tax dollars for, that said they wanted to protect and serve, to do that for us. I served in the military. His father served in the military. What is it for us to ask them to come and help us to find out what happened to our son?
Yeah, Carmen, this is certainly, again, I hear the pain and the frustration in your voice. We know that you have hired attorney Benjamin Crump. He is on the case, so we, of course, will expect developments from him as well, as you certainly continue to find justice for your son. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate it.